Hello, Virgo. Um, uh, Something in your energy field might be shifting from scarcity to abundance in ways you haven't fully recognized yet. And I'm not just talking about money. What I'm sensing right now is a culmination point, a harvest moment, the possibility that everything you've been investing in, working toward, believing in despite the evidence, could be approaching a breakthrough that makes all the struggle make sense. You might be standing at the edge of receiving something significant, something that changes your life trajectory, something that proves your faith wasn't misplaced. If you've been feeling like you're constantly working, constantly trying, constantly putting energy out without seeing proportional returns, that pattern might be about to shift dramatically. Let me walk you through what I'm picking up on, because this energy feels like victory after a long battle, like finally arriving after an exhausting journey, like the universe might be preparing to show you what you're actually worth. There's a strong possibility that you've been in a season of planting without harvesting, where you've been doing the work, making the investments, showing up consistently but not seeing the results you expected, not experiencing the recognition you deserved, not receiving the compensation, the opportunities, the breakthroughs that matched your level of effort and dedication. And that could have been discouraging, exhausting. It might have made you question if you were on the right path, if your efforts would ever pay off, if you were wasting your time chasing something that would never materialize. But what I'm sensing is that all of that investment might have been building towards something bigger than you realized. That the seeds you planted have been growing beneath the surface, even when you couldn't see any evidence of it. That your consistency during the difficult times might be exactly what positions you to receive abundantly when the tide turns. The jackpot I'm picking up on isn't necessarily a literal lottery win, though financial breakthroughs are absolutely part of this energy. What feels more accurate is that you might be entering a period where multiple areas of your life start clicking into place simultaneously, where doors that were locked suddenly open, where opportunities you've been working toward finally manifest, where recognition you've deserved for a long time finally arrives. Drop a if you've been investing without seeing returns for longer than feels fair. Now, let me talk about what this jackpot moment might actually look like in practical terms, because I want to ground this in reality rather than fantasy. This could be a career breakthrough, a promotion you've been working toward, a business opportunity that finally gains traction, a project that suddenly gets the visibility or funding it needs, a skill set you've been developing that suddenly becomes highly valuable in the marketplace. It might be financial, not necessarily millions falling from the sky, but a significant improvement in your financial situation, debt getting resolved, income increasing, unexpected money coming in, financial stress that's been constant for years finally easing in a way that lets you breathe. This could be relational, meeting someone who actually matches your energy and your standards after a long period of disappointing connections, or an existing relationship finally shifting into the healthy reciprocal dynamic you've been working toward, finding your people, your community, your tribe after feeling isolated or misunderstood. It might be creative, a project you've poured your heart into finally getting recognized, your art, your writing, your music, your ideas finally reaching the audience they deserve. The validation that comes from knowing your creative expression matters and impacts people. Or this could be internal, a breakthrough in your healing journey, a level of peace and self acceptance you've been working toward for years, freedom from patterns that have kept you stuck, a shift in your relationship with yourself that changes how you move through the world. What I'm sensing most strongly is that this jackpot isn't just one thing. It might be a convergence where multiple areas of your life simultaneously improve because you've finally reached a level of alignment, readiness, and energetic availability that allows good things to flow to you more easily. And that convergence might feel like winning because you've been struggling for so long that relief itself feels like abundance. Let me talk about why this might be happening now specifically, because timing is rarely random, even when it feels that way. You might have recently released something that was blocking you, a limiting belief about what you deserve, a relationship that was draining your energy, a job that was keeping you small, a pattern of self sabotage that you finally recognized and interrupted. Or you might have reached a level of mastery or maturity in some area that now positions you differently. You've put in your 10,000 hours. You've developed skills that are rare and valuable. You've built a reputation through consistent quality. You've networked and connected in ways that are now creating opportunities. There's also a possibility that external circumstances are finally aligning with what you've been preparing for. The market is ready for what you offer. The timing is right for your particular combination of skills and perspective. The world is catching up to where you've been for a while. What I'm picking up on is that you might have been ahead of your time in some way, that you've been ready for something before the circumstances were ready for you, and now things might be catching up. Now, the external reality might be matching your internal readiness. And when that alignment happens, breakthroughs can occur rapidly. Things that seemed impossible suddenly become easy. Opportunities that were closed suddenly open. Progress that was glacial suddenly accelerates. Comment alignment if you've been feeling like you're finally in the right place at the right time. But let me talk about something important here, because receiving abundance after a period of scarcity can actually be challenging in ways people don't talk about enough. You might struggle to believe it's real. You might keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. You might sabotage it unconsciously because part of you doesn't believe you deserve it, or because success feels unfamiliar and therefore uncomfortable. There's a possibility that as good things start happening, you'll need to consciously work on your capacity to receive, to allow yourself to have what you've been wanting without guilt, without minimizing it, without immediately giving it away or finding ways to make it not count. Because if you've been in survival mode for a long time, scarcity might feel safer than abundance. Struggle might feel more familiar than ease. And you might unconsciously create problems where none exist because your nervous system doesn't know how to process sustained well being. What I'm sensing is that this jackpot moment might be inviting you to expand your identity, to start seeing yourself as someone to whom good things happen, to release the story of yourself as unlucky, cursed, or perpetually struggling, to embrace a new narrative where you're successful, abundant, valued, and thriving. And that identity shift can be harder than the practical circumstances changing because it requires you to let go of a version of yourself you might have been carrying for years. Let me also talk about what you might need to do to maximize this breakthrough period, because jackpot moments still require wise action and stewardship. First, stay grounded. Don't let success make you reckless or arrogant. Don't burn bridges or forget the people who supported you when things were hard. Don't abandon the habits and practices that got you here just because things are easier now. Second, manage your resources wisely. If money is coming in, don't immediately spend it all in celebration or relief. Build some cushion. Create stability. Make choices that honor both present joy and future security. Third, keep working on yourself. Success doesn't mean you stop growing, it just means you're growing from a different position. Keep healing, keep learning, keep expanding your capacity. Fourth, be generous but boundaried. Share your abundance in ways that feel good, but don't let people guilt you or take advantage just because you're finally doing well. Your success doesn't make you responsible for everyone else's situation. And fifth, savor it. Actually let yourself enjoy what you've worked for. Celebrate your wins. Acknowledge how far you've come. Let yourself feel good about what you're creating and receiving. What I'm picking up on is that you might have a tendency to immediately move the goalpost, to achieve something significant and then immediately focus on the next thing without pausing to appreciate what just happened. And that pattern could keep you from ever really feeling successful no matter what you accomplish. So practice presence. Practice gratitude. Practice actually receiving the good that's coming your way instead of just rushing past it toward the next goal. If you're learning to celebrate your wins instead of just chasing the next one. Now, let me address the people in your life and how they might respond to your jackpot moment, because success can shift relationship dynamics in surprising ways. Some people will be genuinely happy for you. They'll celebrate your wins because they love you and want good things for you. These are your people. Keep them close. But you might also encounter jealousy, resentment, or subtle undermining. People who suddenly have problems with you now that you're doing well. People who try to diminish your success or attribute it to luck rather than your effort. People who expect you to share your abundance with them while offering nothing in return. And that can hurt, especially if these are people you thought were your friends or supporters. But their reaction to your success tells you who they actually are and what the relationship was really based on. What I'm sensing is that your breakthrough might cause a natural sorting of relationships. Some people will fall away because they were only comfortable with you when you were struggling, when they could feel superior, when you needed them more than they needed you. And while that loss might sting, it also creates space for people who can match your new energy. People who celebrate your success instead of resenting it. People who want to grow with you instead of keeping you small. People who are secure enough in themselves that your wins don't threaten them. Let the sorting happen. Let people show you who they are, and trust that the right people for this next chapter of your life will appear as you continue to step into your power and abundance. Let me also talk about purpose and meaning, because jackpot moments often bring up questions about what you're meant to do with what you receive. There's a possibility that this breakthrough isn't just for you, that your success might position you to help others in ways you couldn't before, that your abundance might be meant to flow through you, not just to you. Maybe you're supposed to create jobs. Maybe you're supposed to mentor people coming up behind you. Maybe you're supposed to fund causes you care about. Maybe you're supposed to be an example that success is possible even when the odds seem stacked against you. What I'm picking up on is that your jackpot might have a purpose beyond personal comfort and security. And discovering that purpose might be part of what makes this success feel truly meaningful rather than just materially satisfying. But you don't have to figure that out immediately. You're allowed to stabilize first, to get your own house in order, to enjoy the fruits of your labor before you start thinking about how to leverage them for others. Just stay open to the possibility that this abundance might be asking something of you, that with increased resources comes increased responsibility, that your breakthrough might be the beginning of a larger story about impact and legacy, not just the end of a story about struggle. Comment purpose if you sense your success is meant to serve something bigger than yourself. Now, let me address something about gratitude and humility, because these qualities will help you sustain what you're building. You might feel grateful to whatever forces, circumstances, or people helped you get here, and that gratitude is beautiful and appropriate. But don't let it turn into a belief that you don't deserve what you're receiving or that it's all just luck and you had nothing to do with it. You worked for this. You showed up when it was hard. You kept going when you wanted to quit. You believed in yourself when no one else did. You made sacrifices. You invested. You took risks. So, yes, be grateful for the opportunities and support you received, but also acknowledge your own role in creating this outcome. Own your agency. Recognize your contribution. Because if you attribute everything to luck or external factors, you won't trust your ability to sustain and build on what you've created. You'll be waiting for it to disappear instead of actively stewarding and growing it. What I'm sensing is that you're entering a phase where you need to balance humility with confidence, where you acknowledge both the help you received and the work you put in, where you're grateful without being diminished. That balance is where sustainable success lives. As we move toward closing, I want to talk about what comes after the jackpot moment, because breakthroughs are beginnings, not endings. This success might open doors to challenges you haven't faced before. New levels bring new devils, as they say. You might encounter problems you couldn't have imagined when you were struggling just to pay rent or get your foot in the door. And that's okay. That's part of growth. The challenges change, but you'll be facing them from a position of greater resources, greater experience, greater confidence than you had before. What matters is that you keep evolving, that you don't get complacent, that you use this breakthrough as a foundation to build something even more aligned, even more meaningful, even more expansive. Because what I'm picking up on most strongly is that this jackpot moment isn't your ceiling, it's your floor for what comes next. It's proof of what's possible when you align your gifts with opportunity and timing. It's evidence that you're capable of creating the life you want. And if you can do it once, you can do it again in new areas, at new levels, with new goals and dreams that you can't even imagine yet from where you're standing now. May you receive this abundance with open hands and an open heart. May you steward it wisely. May you let it change you in beautiful ways while keeping you grounded in what matters most. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and remember that you didn't win the jackpot by accident. You created the conditions for breakthrough through your consistency, your belief, your refusal to give up, even when things looked hopeless. That's not luck, that's power, that's intention, that's you claiming what was always meant to be yours. Stay grounded, stay grateful, stay wise, and get ready, because after all this time of investing, planting, working, believing, You might be about to see exactly what you've been building toward all along. You've earned this, you've prepared for this, and you're ready for everything that comes with it. Trust that I don't sell futures, I build architects. No predictions, just the raw truth for the tough ones. Stay magic, stay in the now.